Hi, I'm Andrew Darcey, sports physiotherapist from Adelaide, South Australia. Today we're going to look at the dreaded injury of most footballers, the hamstring strain. Ever since straining my own hamstring in the late 90s on the eve of our round 1 match, I've been fascinated as to why hamstring strains occur, the best ways to treat them, and how to prevent them recurring down the track. Over the last 15 years I've attended every type of education course there is available on this topic, including spending time at the Australian Institute of Sport and writing a master's thesis on why hamstring strains occur. I now apply this at our clinic, Leading Edge Physical Therapy, as well as with elite sporting teams in Adelaide. Well, what do we know about hamstring strains? They are the most significant injury in Australian rules football, as well as soccer, rugby codes, and other major field sports. The AFL, as an organisation, keep excellent detailed injury records that they publish each year and every year about the injuries that occur in the sport. From this research, what we know is that over the last 20 plus years, hamstring strains have accounted for the most time lost through injury in the AFL. Over this time, there's been nearly 3,000 hamstring strains, resulting in more than 7,000 games lost. We also know that on average, hamstrings take about 3.5 weeks to recover. And what's worse is that there's a 20% chance that you'll re-injure your hamstring in the same season that you've injured it the first time. So what do we know about preventing this happening? Well, what we do know from the research is that there are some factors for people getting hamstring strains. Some of these we can address and reduce our risk of injury. Some of them we can't counter against because they are things that we just can't change. These things include increasing age, ethnicity. Aboriginal and African athletes are more prone to hamstring strains, and a previous hamstring strain. As sports physios, we try to focus our efforts on affecting change in the risk factors that we can potentially influence. So with that, our top 5 tips for preventing hamstring strains are: number 1, loosen up your back. The lower back is where the nerves that control the hamstring come from. We know that a lot of people who develop hamstring strains have coexisting back symptoms. This may be as simple as a sensation of tightness with certain activities, or maybe as significant as disc bulges and the like. Either way, a good functioning and flexible lower back is vital to allow your hamstrings to function properly. Our top tips for keeping your back flexible: lumbar rotation stretches. Roll your knees from side to side to loosen up the joints and muscles in your back. Lumbar flexion stretches. Take your knees to your chest to stretch the muscles and give the nerves more room to move. And lumbar side flexion stretches. Kneel on one knee and stretch it sideways to loosen up the muscles that get tight on the side of the spine. Tip number 2, release your glutes. Towards the end of a tough pre-season, I see heaps of footballers getting really tight in their glutes. The workload involved in training and the increase in intensity as the games start can make these muscles around your hips get knots, or what we call trigger points. This can cause referred pain in the hamstring, reduce your flexibility, and actually increase the risk of actually straining your hamstring. So the ways to get your glutes loose: firstly, some basic stretches. Put your foot on the opposite knee and take the opposite knee to your chest. Lie on your back, take the knee to the shoulder, and then twist the leg from the ankle. Hold these stretches for at least 20 seconds each and repeat a few times on each side. Next tip, foam roller release. The foam roller helps to knead out the trigger points in the glute. Position the roller under the affected glute on the muscle side and then roll either side of the knot until you feel it start to release. And similarly, tennis ball release. You can use a tennis or a cricket or a baseball, and that can sometimes be a bit more effective as it can get really into the smaller areas. I have a good success with this in combination with stretching, so pack a ball into your kit bag and use it as a good pre-game routine. Number 3, get your nerves gliding properly. A tight back and glutes affect the timing and flexibility of the nervous system. This can then lead to misfiring of the hamstrings and putting them at risk of injury, a bit similar to a misfiring cylinder on a car. So the solution is firstly to keep on top of the back and glute work we mentioned before, but also to keep the nerve system moving properly. So to do this, sit on the edge of a chair or bed and slump down into a bent position. Bend up your ankle and then alternately straighten and bend your knees to the point of stretch, and then release and swap your legs. Keep alternating this 20 to 30 times each side. In your warm-up, you can also do active leg swings as part of it, but then include a slump into it as you start to progress through. So slump your back down and bend up the ankle as your leg swings. Tip 4, keep your strength up. We know that people who strain their hamstrings tend to have an asymmetry in the strength from side to side, or that the strength in the muscle occurs at the wrong angle. Ideally, we have our muscles strong as possible when the muscle is at length, as it allows us to bend over and pick up a ball, for instance. I'd recommend most field sport athletes incorporate some sort of hamstring strengthening into their weekly routine, just to keep on top of this important risk factor in terms of developing hamstring strains. The sorts of exercises that would help this work would include things that we call drinky birds or drinking birds. This exercise helps strengthen the muscle as it lengthens, which is really important in keeping up the hamstring strength. Stand on one leg with your arms out, shift the weight onto the back of your foot as you bend over at the waist, keeping your back straight. You should feel a pull in the back of the thigh. Return and repeat in sets of 10 to 12 reps each side, a few sets. Next one is body bridges. Put your foot on a chair or a bench with your knee bent, raise your bum up off the ground and extend your leg. Repeat this 10 to 15 times each and a few sets on each side. And our final tip number 5, is recover. What we do know about muscles is that they are more likely to strain if they're fatigued. Fatigue can be a normal thing that can occur in a training session or match, but you can also get cumulative fatigue that can creep up on your muscular system over a number of weeks as your training builds up. The way to counter cumulative fatigue is to utilise simple recovery strategies to give your body the best environment to heal and to recover and adapt to exercise. Bearing in mind, you actually get the benefits from exercise when you're resting and your body builds on its strength. So, simple recovery strategies include nutrition, refuel after activity to help replenish the energy stores you've taken. Take something simple with you to training and games, such as a piece of fruit or an energy bar, to allow you to get onto this as soon as possible. Cold water immersion. Walking and exercising in water can help flush out any waste products left over from vigorous exercise. This can be as simple as a walk in the water or the beach, or even a pool, or you can extend it to taking the dreaded ice bath for 5 to 10 minutes. Bearing in mind, the water can be in the vicinity of sort of 12 to 15 degrees Celsius to be effective, so you don't need to kill yourself doing this. And then sleep. Sleep is the best way to recover. If you're feeling flat, go to bed early or take a sleep in. Let your body use this time to repair what you've been damaging at training. So there you have it, the 5 simple strategies to help reduce your risk of developing a hamstring strain this winter. They are: number 1, loosen up your back. Number 2, release your glutes. 3, get your nerves gliding. 4, keep your strength up. And 5, recover. We hope you have success with this and have an injury-free season. If you're not sure about anything, pop onto our website or make contact with us and we'd be happy to explain it in more detail. Good luck.